Here we are back again. We're doing Mattel Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars Wave 1 villains this time. The more interesting and colorful, both figuratively and literally, characters in the line of any sort of medium. These characters always stand out. The villains are always fun. They're always over the top and they're always exciting. Again, really pared down as we discussed in the first video. You don't see capes on Magneto or Doom. Because that would cost more money. Mattel was trying to make these very simple. Magneto, you can see, has a lot of design elements he shares with Captain America. Now, to be fair, these characters also featured in several issues of Secret Wars without capes. You saw Magneto without his cape. You saw Doom without his cape in the last two issues when he became God Doom. So I think it's more than fair that they don't have capes in that respect. So you'll see the weapon, the universal weapon, as we're going to call it here. Kang's blasters, the same as Doom's blasters, the same as Magneto's blasters, the same as Iron Man's blaster from last time. They recycled that. The only unique weapon is Doom's laser rifle. And he's the only one that has it out of the entire series as well. Otherwise, we just keep seeing that blaster come back. Octopus has arms. That makes him pretty unique in this series. So there are some unique ones here. Kang has a little, you'll see, apparatus that he's wearing that is not painted on him. Otherwise, all the other details are painted. Magneto, oddly enough, was included here as a villain, but in the comic, he was more ambiguous, but he was ultimately a hero. But I guess they just needed more bad guys to round it out. They had a pretty big roster to choose from, but I guess he was the easiest to mix in with his very simplistic design, so they went with Magneto. And he's also quite popular, and he fits, I think he parallels Wolverine. If you need an X-Men hero, you need an X-Men villain, right? So the other big change in this line, or the rest of this line, is the villains are using a square secret shield, as opposed to the red one that we saw for the heroes. Now, I didn't talk about it, but these little nubs you see at the top are for activating different features inside the vehicles and the playsets, which we will cover later on. But you can see the color change. This is a little more ominous with the bolts on here. Now, previously we put the inserts in and you would fit them here on the front. There would be a little carve out for them. You could see how they would perfectly line up. This time you fit them in on the back. So a big change there as well. The inserts went from being more, well, not quite circle, but circular, less edges. And this time they're a little bit more square at the top and rounded at the bottom. So a lot of changes there between the heroes and the villains to make them both kind of unique. So we have these shields this time. None of these guys really use shields, but they can use shields as protective, but they didn't really go with the characters. But other than Captain America, no one really used the shields. So it was kind of a weird sort of gimmick, but it was fun. There were no any action features, so in the absence of that, it kind of made up for it. So we're going to move this one a little bit quicker, so why don't we come in and check these guys out. All right, we're going to start with our Magneto here. Here's their little Magneto comic. Of course, we're going to show you that with all his little features here. Now, his only feature or weapon you could see is the gun. I also think it's kind of funny that he's fighting Iron Man here, and we all know he could just wreck him in like 10 seconds if he wanted to. So he has his blaster again. The detailing you could see on here is all painted on. So you can see the little rivets in the top of his costume are all black painted on there. This is pretty much the Captain America body. You can tell the gloves and the boots there. So they recycled that here for him with this new head, which is the Magneto helmet. No paint application on the face there. It's just a, beige, blank, expressionless face. And that's basically it for Magneto. The same articulation, the 5 points that we see on all the other characters. Now, Magneto had his secret shield here, and it is between Eric Lencher and then his Magneto alter ego there, as you see it lenticulate. So that is the default one for this. And on the flip side of that, it is, I don't know, it looks like some kind of building or something in the background of this one. So we'll see if we can get this one to, you can see a little bit of motion there on this one. So that is the default version there. And then we have several other ones we're going to show you. So we have him using his powers here, and on the back there's some kind of weird volcano. We have this one here where it's like an energy blast. This one's really hard to find. You'll see a lot of Magnetos missing this one when you see a loose Magneto. And then you see I think this is the turbo cycle here, which we'll be covering another week. Let's check that one out. That looks kind of fun. What's he doing with the turbo cycle? I'm not quite sure. It looks like it's moving a little bit. Like again, these don't really work that great sometimes. It could also depend on the shield that you have. Like they might not just be the best shield for making it work. So this one seems to be stuck now. There we go. And then the last one is Magneto flying through the air with some bullets or something there around him. And then looks like Iron Man jumping over Magneto. Let's try to see if we get this bullet one working, just so we get another fun Magneto shot before we move on. And then really a little bit. It's really hard to get these. There we go. So it's, again, I don't know if you could quite see this, but I want to make an effort to show you guys. So those are the ones that come with Magneto there. And just like last time, we want to take our Magneto and we want to check out how he stuck out to the 1990 Toy Biz. Now we covered this in our video on Toy Biz, covering this line. This guy has a cape. His helmet comes off as well. He had an action feature where he had magnetic components would stick to his chest and hands. He had the magnets in the hands here. He has articulating arms and knees. So a lot of articulation on this figure. A little bit, taller. These rivets are three-dimensional. A lot more tooling went into this figure than went into the Mattel one. This one is just a great classic figure to have to begin with. So that is your Magneto from the Secret Wars line there, and you got to see the Toy Biz one as well. So he's got some charm. He doesn't quite have a cape, which is kind of it sucks, basically. But that was your Magneto there that you had at the time. Now, we have the very interesting Dr. Octopus. Dr. Octopus, here's his little comic here, fighting Spider-Man, which is appropriate. I don't know why they didn't have Magneto versus Wolverine, but they have Spider-Man versus Dr. Octopus here in his little comic. Now, these arms are notorious for breaking on the figure. They frequently came out. It's hard to find a loose Dr. Octopus without the arms in him. He's got the goggles on. I do like how they kept that. And then the body there, I think, is very similar to the other characters. They didn't really change much there. Now, these do not have any wire in them or anything. They're just plastic. All you could do with them is rotate them around. So you can make them more Dr. Octopus-esque by rotating these arms and legs around to make them come out and go forward. But that's it. They don't flex or bend or anything like that. This is all they did. And these broke off very easily. So I don't want to do too much with them for fear that they will break off. But that was basically all that happened with this figure. And he couldn't put his arms down, much like Randy in Toy Story. Or not Toy Story, Christmas Story. He can't put his arms down because he's got them growing right out of his armpit. So it was kind of a weird, poor design to this figure too. So a little disappointing in that respect. Now he came with this default punch the screen and standing there kind of motion, which was kind of cool. And this one works really well for the lenticulation aspect there. So the other aspect we had is this one's not working now. When I flip it, I was saying you worked really well, and now you stopped. And he's just sort of walking there on the extended legs, if you could see that. Some of the other ones we have are the Wheel of Doom, again, or the Doom Roller. I keep wanting to call it Wheel of Doom. And then it looks like him with his crazy arms there. Let's see if we get the Doom Roller one, just because I love the Doom Roller. Yeah, this one just looks like his arms are grabbing the Doom Roller, if you could see that there. And then we have another Dr. Octopus just kind of standing around one here, and then a close-up of his face with Dr. Octopus that looks like a record album. And then we have a Dr. Octopus versus Iron Man, and then Dr. Octopus, walking on top of a rooftop. Let's see the Iron Man one here, see if we get that working. So it's Iron Man, and he lifts a boat. This one works really well, if you could see that. Iron Man lifts a boat there, and that is the one that we have working. So, yep, that is our Dr. Octopus there with his little inserts. Again, interesting design. I appreciate they went through a little bit more effort, but nowhere near as good as the Toy Biz one that came out just a few years later in 1990. So again, brighter orange colors, more pronounced goggles. I love the haircut is better. These were flexible wire, so you could move these and bend these however you wanted to. It had a suction cup on 2 of these, so you could stick them on the wall. These other ones had these little claws that had a little give, so you could, put them around characters and grab them and stuff. And you could position these, and best of all, they had them low enough that the arms could actually move down. So the knees were articulating. I mean, a lot more effort went into it. That's why I spent so much time doing videos on this line. Like Toy Biz really went in. They took a gamble. They tried to make it work. It did work for several years before it stopped working. And then eventually it created Marvel Legends. So these were, much more successful than these. That's why I call this the first successful Marvel line. And this is the first Marvel line, period. But there's still some charm to these guys here in their attempt to make some characters that were never done before, to Mattel's credit. So they tried to capture some of that magic. It was just a little bit more could have been needed. The cape would have taken Magneto over the top, and these flexible arms with just some wire in there would have made a bigger difference. But that is your look at the first half of this villain wave. All right, moving on to Kang here, the Conqueror, and you can see him in his little comic with Wolverine. So a little fun mix and match between those two characters here. And again, there's that gun. They had to bring that gun back. This one has a little apparatus on him, this little purple thing here, which you can remove. You can see the little connectors here on the back. And this sort of made this character, gave him a little bit more depth, I think. I love the blue face. They really captured that look there. Nice job on this one. Absolutely love that. I think it's basically based on the Iron Man. You can see the ridges on the hands, and you see these again on Doom. And the legs are more taken from, I think, Magneto, Captain America, very similar on the legs here for the body. But again, that is Kang there. A little fun look to him. Now, he is very time travel based. So you can see his lenticulation default is dinosaurs to buildings on this one. I really like this one. This is the default one. On the back side, we have him versus Captain America. Let's see if we get that one going, where Captain America is throwing his shield. Yeah, you can see Kang moving there as Captain America is throwing his shield. So that is the default for Kang. Now he has an assortment of other ones. He has one here where there are buildings rising around him. He has one where he's robbing an old-timey Western bank. Over here we have the pyramids and him in a little power pose with the moon behind him here. And then we have one of, I can't really, we'll do this one here. It looks like a car turning into a subway or something. Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a subway train car. As it approaches him, and it explodes into a million pieces or something like that, or crushes into a ball. So you can see that one there. And then our last one looks like a medieval knight with Kang appearing in the background. And then on this one, it looks like some kind of dinosaur attacking a futuristic ship there. So a lot of really fun ones here for Kang. You see a knight on a horse, and then Kang there. So all these ones are based on little time travel elements, and those are the 3 ones that come with Kang. And now let's check out his Marvel Superheroes counterpart. Yes, there is none. There was none for Kang, which was a little disappointing because he was a fun kind of comic book character, but he never got a Marvel superhero counterpart. Maybe they would have if the line expanded, but he was just not done in any respect. So he's all by himself. There's no one to compare him to. So Kang was kind of a unique figure. So then we get to our final character here, one of my favorite in the series, and that's going to be Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom looking sharp here, attacking Captain America. He was the leader of the villains versus the leader of the heroes. I feel like the action figure series was its own series, separate from the comic, even though it was supposed to be based on the comic. Now, Doom here, again, Iron Man boots, Iron Man hands, just painted a little differently. He's got his armor circuitry painted on there. They did a nice job with that, with the belt. Now, his gun here, you could tell all the guns have this little point sticking out at the side, and it's because they were designed to fit on Doom's holster on his leg. So any of the guns can do that, although they only fit on Doom. He's the only one with a holster. Wait a minute now, he has a holster on the back too, and you can see more circuitry there for his laser rifle. which was different than the other gun there. He's the only one to have it. And then you could holster it right back up in his little back. There is a hole at the top here for it to slink into. He's got his hood on his face. I mean, they did a good job. Doom was probably where they put the most energy of this line into, and I think it paid off. They did a solid job, and like I said, there was 2 comics where he was like this. Now his default is, how do I describe this? Doom, and then it's like Doom holding some energy in his hand is the default that came with his shield. And then on the flip side of that, Doom I think has the more interesting ones of all of them. On the flip side of this, we have a little energy burst. I'm trying to see if there's a hero in there. I don't think so, but it's just some kind of energy burst on the flip side. Then we have Doom with Doom holding a blaster there. Doom fighting Wolverine on the back. Doom punching a robot shark. We're going to have to check that one out. Doom with Wolverine right there in the back. Let's see Doom punching the robot shark. Yeah. Okay, this one is tricky to see. You can see the shark jumping up at Doom and then him punching the shark. That's just amazing. I don't think it's a robot. I think it's a real shark. So that is just bizarre. I love that. And then on this side, he's fighting Wolverine. Let's check this out. Yep. Here we go. We got Wolverine fighting Doom here, taking a slash at him. So that is that one on that side. And then we end with, what's this one here? Doom flying, and then Doom with Captain America. So let's see the Captain America one. Get this positioned. So yeah, it looks like Captain America's running in, and then we see Doom yelling or gasping there on the back end. Again, hard to see these the way that these are set up, so I apologize for that. But yeah, nonetheless, Doom is a fun one. Definitely a fun one, and I love the way this one works really well, and the conversion there. So yeah, they did a really nice job designing Doom, and I want to show the Toy Biz one to go along him here. So the Toy Biz one had an extensive cape, and you could have the little tassel things across here on the front. He had full armor, articulating knees. He had the hand here that has an action feature. It's this one here. We'll show you on the back. So this one, if you want to see the full video on Doom, you have to go to our other video, but you could turn the hand and create that spin effect with his weapon. So that was the Toy Biz Doom. So he had a lot more features going on for him. But they're both pretty cool. I do like the darker green on this Doom. Out of the two, I gotta lean toward the Secret Wars Doom more, even without the cape. He just looks so much cooler, and he has, the weapons weren't really accurate, but he just looks great. So I think the Secret Wars Doom really kind of won out. So, and then you have his buddy Kane here, who he ends up, evaporating at one point after Kane tries to kill him. It's a whole thing. So here are your villains, Doom and Dr. Doom and King the Conqueror. And we got through our villains. Let's talk a little bit about getting these on the secondary market. Mint condition, complete Magneto, you're looking about probably 40 bucks. Doom, maybe 60, just because he's got the additional weapons there. This guy you could probably pick up for 20 to 40 bucks complete. I want to say in the 30 range. The little chest apparatus is sometimes missing. And then Octopus can be really tricky. Finding him with all 4 arms attached, you're probably looking close to $80 to $90 to get a complete Octopus with all 4 arms attached. You might get lucky and find him in the 60 range, but I'm talking all 4 arms, the shield, and all 4 inserts. Probably getting close to like Wolverine of what you're paying for Octopus, just because it's rare to find them with the arms attached, not in package. These are all, I'm talking loose prices here. They're much more expensive if you're looking at in package, although you might be able to get Kang for around 60 bucks in package. He was a peg warmer. Him and Doom were peg warmers, but now Doom is quite a collector's item ever since Downey Jr. was announced as reprising the role, and particularly going to be in Secret Wars. So yeah, he's becoming a commodity. You can see him over my shoulder. Get him now before he becomes super popular and sold out forever. I mean, it already is sold out, but I mean, like the price driven up on eBay as well. So these guys you're going to have to track down in the secondary market. They're getting harder and harder to find in comic shops. People like them. I mean, they're in demand again. This line is getting super expensive, particularly as we get into Wave 2. That Wave 2 did not last very long. It was a shorter run. Those ones have some accessories. They are much more in demand, and they are much more expensive. You're looking at spending maybe close to $300 for a single one of those figures if you could find them now. And I'm talking loose prices to get one of those complete. You're looking at a lot more. Wave 3, you're getting into the you're getting the 4 figures sometimes for one of those guys carded. Even loose, you might spend $700 to get one of those guys complete. So we'll look at Wave 2. Wave 3, I don't know. I don't have all of Wave 3, so I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to acquire those guys. But we will check out Wave 2. So come back for that. That will be our next part of our segment. We're going to intersperse these with the Hasbro line as well. But we're going to run out of that really soon. So we'll be focusing more as we alternate between Secret Wars and what our theme is for next month. So we're not going to spoil that just yet. So we will get to that soon. And we have Toy Fair coming. So we'll be taking a little break while we get you guys a ton of Toy Fair content, just like we do with our other convention coverage. So we'll check out all the booths. So we'll get those up as quick as we can. Give us a little patience. Believe it or not, Wi-Fi in New York is not as great as you would think, unless you have a home or something. So trying to find public Wi-Fi is very difficult. So we do the best we can, but it's more challenging than Comic-Con to get videos up. For just the infrastructure is not there. So we will do the best we can to get some up at the show. But the rest we will try to get up as quick as we can Monday following the show. So we'll try to get as many as we can up while we're there, and we will have more coming out. So we will have no reviews probably on Tuesday, but we will have one on Thursday for starting our month in our special theme. So you will see that soon. So as always, like, subscribe, and follow. We'll see you guys next time.